Latest GM crop trials have been condemned as a scandalous misuse of public funds by the Soil Association. The comments come after a £1 million project to produce genetically modified potatoes got underway in Norfolk this week. But leading scientists have called for a new public debate over the use of biotechnology in food production.
Protected by security fencing in the English countryside, 196 genetically modified potato plants. They've had genes swapped with other plants to develop potatoes resistant to late blight, which caused the Irish potato famine and is still a huge problem. Farmers have to spray crops up to 15 times a season to prevent it.
All those chemicals are applied that could be replaced by genetics, we believe. So we think if we had the right genes in our crops, then we wouldn't need to spray so much. So we've been cloning genes from wild relatives of potato and putting them into cultivated varieties, and we've shown they work against lab strains of this pathogen, this disease. We want to show they actually work against the races that are circulating out there in the field. Well, it's where the plants are carried on after we've made them transgenic. And so
over £1 million has been spent on this project alone, but scientists here say blight costs farmers as much as £60 million a year. But there's been fierce opposition from those who feel the science is flawed.
We think this is a scandalous misuse of public funds for a project which is not delivering any public benefits. We were originally open-minded and agnostic about GM, but we studied the issues and the science, and we have concluded that there are no farmer benefits, there are threats to the environment and potentially to human health.
Previous GM trials in the UK have been attacked by protesters. Here, a crop of genetically modified oilseed rape was destroyed in 1999. Despite government enthusiasm in the 1990s, it was public opposition that brought to an end those plans for GM crops. Now there are no commercially cultivated GM crops in the UK, although licensed trials like this one are allowed, and this trial comes at a time when the debate is about to intensify. Dr. Helen Wallace resigned from the Food Standards Agency committee set up to gauge attitudes towards GM foods. She said it was biased towards biotech industries.
We're seeing a big PR push from the GM industry at the moment. They're trying to convince the public that we need GM crops, a new generation of GM crops to feed the world. And at the same time, they're trying to weaken regulations in Europe so that we see GM crops and foods back on British supermarket shelves.
The new Environment Secretary, Caroline Spellman, has voiced her support for GM in the right circumstances. And leading scientists say advanced technology means it's now time for fresh public debate.
This new trial in Norfolk represents part of this recent scientific development, and I think it's appropriate that it goes back to the public now for them to take stock and assess whether or not they agree with the scientists that this is a technology that is useful and that is not harmful to people.
These small plants are now at the centre of the UK's GM debate. They may remain free of disease, but they're unlikely to stay free from controversy. Keith Doyle, BBC News.